Right, this is the follow-on exercise for Computer-Aided Product Design Stage 2, Lecture 2, where we created the hopper with its adaptable lid in the lesson. We're now looking at creating an adapter which will fit on the bottom, so that we can link from the circular tube through to a square sectioned gutter tubing. Firstly, we need to create the new part within the assembly. So insert a new part, just click in the graphics area, and then right click on the part and edit part. We can right click and also rename it. I'm going to give it the name Adapter. Okay. We're now in the beginning of the construction sequence, and the first thing I want to do is to create a reference plane to draw my first sketch. And what I'm going to choose is the level at the top of the fillet here. So I'll choose reference geometry and plane and pick that tangent line, and it will create the plane at that position. I then want to create my first sketch on that plane. To link the adapter to the size of the hopper, the circular protrusion on the bottom of the hopper, I'm going to use offset entities. Pick the top of the fillet. I'm choosing a 3mm offset to give me my wall thickness that I want. Finish the sketch and then extrude upwards, and what I'm going to do is choose the top face. So choose offset from surface and pick the top face of the hopper protrusion there. I'm going to make it extend 5mm above, so if it's below, just click on reverse offset so that it's going above, and that means whatever size the part on the hopper changes to, this new adapter plate will grow to suit. Accept that. I'm now going to create the square element on the adapter plate. So I'm going to create a new sketch on this newly created face. Choose center rectangle. Let's draw it roughly to start with. I'll put a smart dimension on it, and I think we'll go with about 65mm. So that it remains square, I'm going to use add relation and just clear that. Choose the vertical and the horizontal and set them so they're equal. And lastly, I'm going to pick the centre of the centre rectangle and the edge of the circle and make them concentrically constrained so that it's always positioned centrally to the outer of the plate. That's now fully defined, and I'm going to extrude it. No, I've just come out of editing accidentally. Extrude it up. I'm going to go 25mm. Okay, we're going to need to shell it, but before we do that, I'm going to add some fillets just to make it a little bit neater. So you can pick the 4 corners on the square and the surface of the interface between the square and the circle. It looks a bit better. Now I can go into the shell tool. I've picked 2.75mm so that we've got a 1/4 mm gap between the outer face or the inner face of the adapter and the outer face of the hopper protrusion. And I want to leave open both the bottom and the top face of the hopper. There we go. So it's adapter tube section rather than a closed at one end. So lastly, what I need to do is add an equation to link the shell wall thickness and the diameter of our adapter plate. So if you find the base edge, you should then be able to access the 3mm dimension that we used with our initial creation, the offset, and I add an equation equals, and now I want the equation driving the shell, so you can pick any of the internal faces. The easiest one is here at the top, and there we have our dimension controlling the shell thickness, and add plus 0.25. Okay, and now if I alter the shell to, I don't know, let's say 4mm, you can see the external radius is altered to suit. And if we look at it in cross section, we retain our 1/4 mm gap between the hopper and the adapter plate. I can also find the right controlling dimension. I can also change the diameter of that adapter and the of the protrusion, and the adapter still maintains its relationship. And that's the end of the exercise.